name is Dr. John Watson, and what I'm about to tell you will destroy everything you think you know. What if everything we knew about Sherlock Holmes was a lie? What if the man I trusted with my life, the man the world praised as the genius of Baker Street, was something else entirely? Not a detective, not a savior, but the architect of every crime we thought he solved. This is my confession. This is the case I never dared publish, until now. You believe you know Sherlock Holmes, but you only know the story he allowed you to hear. He was a man of logic, of method, of mystery, but beneath the brilliance lived something cold, calculating, and inhuman. He didn't fight chaos, he used it. He didn't solve crimes, he managed them. And I, Watson, his most trusted companion, may have been his longest experiment. Before Holmes stepped foot in Baker Street, he wasn't interested in justice. He was interested in behavior, in patterns, in how people broke. As a young student, Holmes spent less time with classmates, more time in the morgue or in libraries, scribbling questions like, what compels a man to kill when no one is watching? Professors praised his intellect, but worried about his obsession. He wrote essays not on law, but on the perfection of the undetectable crime. To him, crime was not evil. It was elegant. He once told me, the perfect crime is not the one that goes unsolved. It's the one that is solved, but blames the wrong man. I thought he was being clever. Now I know he meant it. In the year 1888, London bled fear. The Ripper killings shocked the world. Holmes never officially joined the case. He said he found it vulgar, but late at night he would study the details, sketch the wounds, pace endlessly, muttering things only the killer should know. He received a letter once, an anonymous taunt written in ink smeared by blood. It matched the style of the Ripper letters sent to the police. When I asked him about it, he simply said, "That man knows performance." The murders stopped without warning. No killer was found. But Holmes became more famous than ever. He used those murders to step into the public eye. Was he chasing the Ripper or wearing the mask? It took me years to notice, but every case we solved, every criminal caught, felt too clean, too dramatic, the clues too perfect, the motives too symbolic. He always arrived just before the crime scene was disturbed, always knew the layout, the relationships, the weaknesses of the suspect. Once I confronted him, "You always arrive too quickly, Holmes." "How?" He smiled. "Because I know where the crime begins, Watson." At the time, I thought it meant he was brilliant. Now I know it meant he was involved. Moriarty, the name that haunts the legend, the so-called Napoleon of crime, Holmes's greatest enemy. But I never met him. No one did. There were no portraits, no records, no witnesses, just Holmes's word. I began to wonder if Moriarty was real, or if Holmes created him to be the villain he needed. You see, if Holmes was ever suspected of orchestrating crimes, having a shadowy criminal mastermind to blame would protect him. Every wild case, every thread of evil in London was pinned to Moriarty. But who placed the pin? Holmes, the Reichenbach Falls, Holmes's final confrontation with Moriarty. Or so I believed. They struggled and fell. Or so the letter said. There was no body, no blood, only Holmes's handwriting on damp parchment. I mourned, I moved on. But years later, he returned. He told me he had faked his death to dismantle Moriarty's empire. But what empire? No syndicate rose in Holmes's absence. What if Holmes didn't escape a villain? What if he buried a story? What if there was never a Moriarty to begin with? I trusted Holmes more than anyone. But trust is not the same as truth. Over time, I began to keep my own notes, private ones, details he overlooked, or rather, details he was too prepared for. Why did he know what no one else did? Why did every crime seem to benefit his reputation? One night I confronted him. "Tell me, Holmes, how do you know what the killer knew?" He stared, then he smiled. "Because I see what they see, Watson." And that was when I stopped asking questions and started writing them down. Years after Holmes retired, I found an old chest in my attic. In it were my true journals, the ones I never shared. And with them, a memory I had long buried. The look in Holmes's eyes during a murder trial he testified in. He smiled not at justice being done, but at the beauty of the manipulation. He didn't just enjoy solving the crime, he enjoyed creating it. Some killers seek blood, others seek recognition. Holmes sought control, and we gave it to him. Irene Adler, the woman who outwitted him. Or did she? Holmes allowed her to go free, perhaps to preserve the illusion of fallibility. Mycroft, his older brother. They met often, yet rarely disagreed. Was Mycroft a check on Sherlock or his enabler? The deeper I searched, the less I believed. Was Sherlock even his real name? He once said to me, Watson, a name is only a costume. What was the man I followed all those years? Detective, hero, monster, perhaps all. Today, Sherlock Holmes is fiction's greatest detective, immortalized in ink and screen. But the real Holmes, the man behind the myth, left a trail not of clues, but of consequences. He turned crime into theater, and the world into his stage. We wanted to believe in genius, so we ignored the cost. The real mystery was never the crime, it was the man solving it. So what if Sherlock Holmes was the villain all along? What if I, Watson, was never the biographer of a hero, but the chronicler of a master manipulator? What if this story wasn't about justice, but about how far genius will go to remain adored? He didn't solve crimes, he curated them. He didn't catch killers, he made them. This is the final case, the one the world refused to see. The case of Sherlock Holmes, closed at last.